up is the big Bitcoin debate. All right, we're going to do raise your hand if you own BTC. Keep your hand up if you own BCH. Okay, and keep your hand up if you own BSV. Interesting. So if I could have my panelists and I could have Chris come up, we're going to get this one started. I definitely want people to understand the framework of this debate because it is a big debate. What Bitcoin is the real Bitcoin?
4-person panel.
So welcome on in. In the meantime, while these guys are making it up, do you mind putting that flyer for tonight's rave up? So where's my rave boys at? They left. They're probably dancing right now. So there is a rave tonight, you guys. This rave is, yeah, coming up. Do you have another, can I have, yeah. So there is a rave tonight. And this rave is going to be off-site. We have buses taking you from here to the location, and on the way, you're probably going to learn about NFTs on the buses. If you guys are interested in purchasing tickets, you can buy them on the website, miamicryptoexperience.com. Probably one of the biggest parties Miami has seen, and we get to be a part of it and buy tables and stuff. So, switching gears, Bitcoin debate. I have Chris Odom here. If Chris, you want to come on this side? So I'll let Chris introduce himself, but he's a core developer of Bitcoin. He has seen Bitcoin go through all the forks. And before we get started, he is going to preface the conversation so everyone here understands why this debate is so interesting and important.
Hello. I would not actually characterize myself as a core developer of Bitcoin. I am the author of the Open Transactions Library, which does include a C++ implementation of Bitcoin. It works for many different Bitcoin flavors, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, etc. I've been involved in the community, I suppose, since about 2009, 2010, when I released the first version of my library. So I've watched the blockchains evolve over the years, watched all the different changes. When they first asked me to come up and participate in this, they were maybe thinking about having me be one of the debaters. But honestly, I don't know if I can defend any of these three coins. I'll probably just shit all over them.
You know she already has.
Take a seat, take a seat.
I'm pretty agnostic. But just for the people who don't know, when Bitcoin first came out, it has this blockchain. Block contains a set of transactions in it. And at some point, if the developers start to have a disagreement about the protocol, maybe some developers, for example, think that the protocol should have a larger block size, and some think that it should have a smaller block size, and they're unable to agree, then they just fork, right? They just split. So you end up with some of the nodes running one version of the protocol, and then some of the nodes running a different version of the protocol. And they both take the same shared history of the blockchain, and then the two chains, it becomes two chains from that point that diverge in time. And so what's interesting about that is when Bitcoin first split into BCH, then all of the Bitcoin balances also became BCH balances. So if you had 10 Bitcoin, then after that you also had 10 BCH. And you could have just continued forward holding both, or you could sell some and buy the other and so on. And that's where people are sort of arguing over which one's better.
Let me pause you for a second. And this is one of the great innovations of Bitcoin, right? Is the fact that if you want different rules to run by, you don't have to try to convince everybody on that system that they should run by these rules. You can actually fork it, and everybody who agrees with you that those are the rules that should be run by, they can operate on that different chain.
So I'd like to introduce the debaters. We've got, for Bitcoin, we've got Jason, right? JC for Bitcoin, and then Sterling for BCH, and then Rafael, LaVerde for BSV.
Cool, awesome. So we're going to do a little poll beforehand, and let's just see. Thank you, Chris. All right, you guys, Chris is a wealth of knowledge, so everybody who doesn't know about what's going on, I would say definitely talk to this man. Okay, so before we get started, we're going to do a little poll, and we're going to see who thinks wins what. So we're going to start over here with BTC in the crowd. Go wild. All right, Bitcoin Cash. All right, and BSV? I don't know. That's pretty even, actually. Okay, so we're going to get started, and we are going to let each of these guys first give an explanation of who they are and why and what they're debating. So go ahead. I'm going to keep this. Share, okay.
1 2 1 2.
All right. Hello. Hey guys. All right. I'm JC Crown. Don't mind if I stand up. Been in the space for a while, full time, about 5 years in the industry. I'm very passionate about Bitcoin. Have been for a long time. Currently working on one of the biggest projects on the Lightning Network, Zebedee. We're doing Bitcoin and esports, combining that together, taking your virtual assets and allowing you to have
Like this.
Sorry, I work for a company called Zebedee. They're one of the biggest. Okay, thank you. One of the biggest Lightning Network projects in the space. Very proud of what we're doing. We're using the Lightning Network, which is a layer 2 protocol for Bitcoin that allows you to, spend it quickly and cheaply, to add your virtual assets from video games into Bitcoin instead. So we work with game developers and gamers to allow them, like right now we have Counter-Strike, for example, to allow them to actually earn Bitcoin as they're playing. I shoot you, I get your Bitcoin, you shoot me, you get my Bitcoin. It's opening up a whole new world of possibilities. But that's what we're focused on and what I'm passionate about. But I'm happy to be here and talk about why Bitcoin is so important and why it's so important to hold on to what Bitcoin is as well.
All right, and for BCH, Bitcoin Cash?
Hey guys, my name is Sterling Lujan. I've been in this space for about 6 years. I am formerly the communications ambassador for Bitcoin.com. I currently work for an OTC trade desk and emergent exchange called CryptoSpace based out of LA. We also have offices in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Everybody needs training on how to hold a microphone.
Right, good point. So I'm here to debate the merits of using cryptocurrency as peer-to-peer electronic cash and to advocate for mass adoption because it's this type of technology, it's this type of use case that helps us undermine the nation states and the kleptocrats and the bureaucrats and all these nasty people who are trying to take advantage of us. And I feel very strongly that Bitcoin has been co-opted in various degrees that make it unusable.
It's not time for this yet. Sorry, I got to be a good mod. So hey, my question, let's let you finish, Sterling. Why is it that you are qualified to debate for Bitcoin Cash?
Because I've spent about 5 years in the ecosystem and Bitcoin Cash, I've used it, I've helped developers work on it, and I've just been so enmeshed and involved in the system that it's become a part of me, a burgeoning part of me.
Awesome. Rafael.
Hi guys, my name is Rafael, LaVerde, and I run the Crypto Vigilante along with Jeff Berwick, Mr. X, Ed Bugos, Cash App, Mr. Z, Mr. W, and a bunch of gangsters. I've been in the space for almost 10 years. I'm here because I think it's very important to be objective. As an analyst, we strive to be as objective as possible. That is our goal. In crypto, the biggest problem that we've had is tribalism. And a lot of it comes from the fact that there are a lot of special interests that don't want you to know things. So what I want to challenge you guys tonight is to adopt the mindset of a capitalist entrepreneur, to look where people don't want you to look, to research what people don't want you to research, okay? Because that is the way that you gain profit. That's the way you gain profit in life. The moment you start following the crowd and not thinking critically, you're no longer going to be profitable, okay? And that's it.
Rafael is a philosopher. And I do want to say, thanks, Raph. So that concept in general, you guys, doing your own research. This is why we're here today, because personally, I'm not sure which Bitcoin is the real Bitcoin, and it's important for us to have the discussion. And kind of what I've found, and the reason that this has sparked this in me, was because I'm just gonna riff for a moment. I was part of this group chat. It's like female, like toxic, like a maximalist type group, right? And I'm gonna tell you, I've probably onboarded way more people into Bitcoin than that entire group chat combined, just because of what I do, okay? And now what happened in this group chat was a new girl had asked, what do you think about XRP? And I said, XRP is going to win their lawsuit, and they're also going to raise in price. Not that I want this to happen, but I'm a very well-researched person, and that's what I predict. These girls kicked me out of the group chat, and that really made me mad because I was like, I've literally onboarded more people to Bitcoin than all of you people combined. Also, it's like it's a well-informed opinion, right? So then I kind of went down this rabbit hole, like, hey, why are these people just shutting me out of the conversation? And plus, like, not to mention some of these girls, like, I've gotten them speaking engagements, I've found them their lawyers, like all these different favors I've done for them, and they have the audacity to do that. So that's kind of what sparked this debate here. And JC, thankfully, is somebody who is willing to argue for BTC. We found somebody willing to argue for BCH and for BSV, and we actually really found some of the cream of the crop. So I'm looking forward to this. All right, so we have 3 minutes on the clock for each of you. I'm going to time you, make sure this is proper, and we're going to let you go first, JC. Okay. Give him the mic. Thank you. Okay, so the first question is, why is your coin the best Bitcoin? 3 minutes.
Sure. All right. So, I mean, we can start by the fact that it's really the only Bitcoin. It's in the same thing for the last 12 years. So, you've got over, 97% of the hash rate. It's obviously, dominant. But there's a reason why it's dominant. Because people respect, it's not about the technology when we talk about Bitcoin. We're talking about the asset, the monetary asset, the 21 million. And that 21 million, everybody knows, it'll never change. So when you're buying Bitcoin, what you're buying is a piece of something that will never change. You don't have to trust. There's no politics. There's no, I don't know what Vitalik's going to feel tomorrow. Maybe he'll change the emission rate, whatever it is. You can buy a Bitcoin and hold it for 100 years and just sleep and don't care anymore. And that's what it is, and that's important, super important. That's the reason it gets its value. You're going to hear a lot of things here about, Bitcoin being used as payments or as a payment technology or as a peer-to-peer cash. And I do love peer-to-peer cash. That's why I'm involved in the industry in the Lightning space, because that allows me to spend Bitcoin in ways that I couldn't even do with BSV or BCH. The games, for example, that we're talking about, Counter-Strike, when I shoot you and I get 30 Satoshi, like less than a penny from you, you can't even send 30 Satoshi on BSV or BCH. It's too small. It's below the dust limit. But on Lightning, I can do that. I can do that with no confirmations, with cryptographic security. I don't want to get too much into the tech. I can do that with real cryptographic security. I don't have to, I don't want to get too deep into the tech on that, but Lightning enables us to use Bitcoin in a way that actually scales. So when you're talking about scaling Bitcoin, you're talking about using it in layers. You have all the security of layer 1, which is never compromised and never changes, and then you have the utility of layer 2.
I'm just going to pause you real quick. Just for the people who might not understand scaling, scaling just means Bitcoin being able to send more transactions and higher volumes as it grows.
Right. So when I hear peer-to-peer cash, it's funny because Lightning is actually more peer-to-peer than the core protocol itself. If I'm sending you money over the Lightning Network, I'm sending you money. It's not going to a miner and being recorded in a ledger. It's me and you and our private keys, and we're signing that transactions ourselves in a peer-to-peer way. And that scales as much as you want it to. We've got some tests already that have been done over 1 million TPS. And the best part is, if Erica and I are transacting to each other, on 2 supercomputers, 1 million transactions a second, and you guys are over here in wherever, Kentucky, transacting, you don't even know or feel it. It's not like it's bringing down the network because we're transacting. We're transacting in a peer-to-peer way with the people we want to transact with. And we can do it in a way that, again, doesn't compromise the main protocol, which is essential. The only reason why any of this matters is because it can't be changed. If you couldn't trust the core rules, we were talking about money. We're talking about something that governments, world wars have been fought over for all of history, entire kingdoms. You cannot put that in human hands. We've seen it. I mean, if you want to, sure, you can bet on that, but I don't want to. That's why I love Bitcoin.
20 seconds.
I don't want to trust, and that's why I feel like I don't have to trust Bitcoin. It gets very different when you start going off into well, maybe I want to change the rules and do this over here with these 20 guys. It's a totally different thing and not why I'm here.
Okay, and just to end that out, very good opening arguments, JC. And just to end that out, Bitcoin's current market cap is the biggest. It's about $1 trillion right now. Bitcoin price is about $55,000. And it's definitely got the highest hash rate out of the 3 currently.
Right. Excuse me, can you repeat the question again?
The question was... All right, the question was, why is your coin the best Bitcoin? 3 minutes on the clock. Who wants to go first? Yeah? BCH, let's go.
So Bitcoin Cash represents the best version of Bitcoin because it fulfills all the requirements for a peer-to-peer decentralized cash that Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever that is, had envisioned since day one. This means that you can send Bitcoin Cash in a truly peer-to-peer fashion, except also keeping fees low. another beautiful thing about Bitcoin Cash is that it's bringing the most utility to the space right now and has some of the most active and beautiful developmental activities happening right now. So, for instance, Bitcoin Cash has created Cash Fusion, which is providing privacy and anonymity for the currency. Nothing like that currently exists on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is completely visible forensically and analytically for anybody who wants to view those transactions. That's changing with Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash has a ton of activity overall. And another thing I want to bring up that's really important, JC was talking about Lightning Network providing that peer-to-peer functionality for Bitcoin, but that's all absolutely false. So the problem with Lightning Network, the main problem, is it's just reinventing the wheel. It's becoming a simulacrum of Visa and MasterCard networks because since it is off-chain in second layer, any of those transactions at any time can be seized or frozen. I want to add the fact that the Blockstream company who has started developing platforms like Liquid, those guys aren't looking out for the individual user. They're looking out for the large exchanges and for making sure that all of those guys get their coffers filled. So in this sense, Bitcoin Cash is staying true to the decentralized peer-to-peer version that Bitcoin was always meant to be. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. If we can use cryptocurrencies to help undermine the nation states, to empower cypherpunks and crypto anarchists, to empower people who don't want to live under the servitude of tyranny, Bitcoin Cash represents the best version of Bitcoin. It is Bitcoin par excellence from the purely visionary perspective.
Awesome. Thank you, Sterling. Now, to give you guys some stats, Bitcoin Cash is currently $925 a coin. Its market cap is about $17 billion right now, and I think it has the second most hash rate in this debate.
Can someone close that door, please?
Yeah, please. Thank you. All right, and let's go, Rafael. Why is BSV the best Bitcoin?
All right, guys, so we're going to break this down. The word Bitcoin is a composite word. It's Bitcoin. What these guys have been emphasizing here has been the coin aspect of Bitcoin, right? One guy represents something that wants to be digital gold. The other guy represents something that wants to be digital cash. But the truth, guys, is that according to sound Austrian monetary theory, neither of these coins meet that criteria. That's because they tried to make Bitcoin into something that Bitcoin was not. What they both really want to be is called Monero, okay? Get that straight. That is private by default at the protocol level. This right here, Bitcoin Cash, Cash Fusion, that's like putting your coins into a dirty soup, okay? CoinJoin is a dirty soup. That's all it is. Of course, blockchain analytics companies are going to be like, dude, you were in the soup with us. It's obvious. Bitcoin BTC, when you trade in the Lightning Network, you're not even trading Bitcoin. You're trading simulation Bitcoin is what I call it. It's a simulation, guys. If it's not on chain, it is not Bitcoin. If it does not extend the ledger, it is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin in its heart is a meritocracy of miners. That's what it is. And what these two don't understand is that the miners are the owners of the club. They are not the bouncers of the club, okay? So they're, from the get-go, they're only looking at Bitcoin half-ass because number one, they never really understood it. Number two, those that kind of understood it were too scared to go for it all the way. And number three, they came in with this communist rhetoric of this new egalitarianism called decentralization. And in order to have decentralization, you have to have central planners. So we have two co-opted attempts of Bitcoin, right? By the core devs, and he didn't give you the whole story. Has there ever been a dispute within BTC? And from now on, I'm going to call it here CryptoCoin. Within CryptoCoin, has there ever been a dispute within CryptoCoin that the BTC devs did not win? Think about it. No, they've always won. They're central planners for the sake of decentralization. Same thing with Bitcoin Cash. Heroes talking crap about Liquid.
30 seconds.
Liquid. But guess what they did? They also checkpointed onto exchanges. Guess what? I stand tall with the fullness of Bitcoin, and I can break it down even more because I only address the coin aspect of Bitcoin. Don't even get me started on the bits aspect of Bitcoin, which is its computational power that both of you don't even want to know about. And you know why you guys don't want to know about? Because it scares the crap out of Silicon Valley. That's why. Our enemies are not Wall Street. Our enemies are not the banks. Our enemies is Silicon Valley. With Bitcoin in its original form at scale, you can compete tonight with big tech by using the Bitcoin miners as the back end of your business. I was a bit angel in charge of all of the early Bitcoin startups.
Gotta be respectful, Raf.
Dude, really quick. And I got to see all the early Bitcoin startups, yo. I saw them all. They all went through my desk. I've never seen so much entrepreneurship in all of crypto my whole life than I've seen in BSV. Open up your eyes and look where they tell you not to look. Okay, there's a lot of special interests out there that don't want you to look at Bitcoin as original design.
We'll cover that in the next round, Raf. Thank you so much,
look into it, guys.
Raf.
Real digital gold, the real digital cash is called Monero.
Mike, just kidding. So as you guys can tell, we have passionate people. And you know what? I'm going to say, just to preface this, diversification. The beautiful part of this is that all three of these chains are currently operating right now. You can have access to all three of them. So let's continue with the debate. Just to do some statistics, BSV, currently at a price of $299, currently at a market cap of $5 billion. So the next question, and I'm going to let you take this one first, JC. It is, what wouldn't you, why, you can, I want you to pick BCH, or I want you to pick BSV, and I want you to say why you would not pick one of them.
Sure, that's going to be easy. And I do want to make a couple quick clarifications. When it comes to Lightning
Network.
1
minute on the clock, by the way.
Okay, when it comes to Lightning Network, it is definitely not a simulation. It's backed by your private keys. You know, you've got little devices called an open dime. You can put Bitcoin on it and give it to your friends. Nobody ever says it's not real Bitcoin because you didn't put it on the chain. That's ridiculous. Your
Doesn't
private
extend
keys,
the ledger.
Your private
It's not
keys
Bitcoin.
are what your Bitcoin is. So that's important. It's not pretend. You are trading Bitcoin, but you don't have to go through miners because blockchains don't scale like that. We know that. You either have a centralized chain that can scale or a decentralized one that you can't make compromises on. That's what Bitcoin is. So the one I would absolutely never use, of course, is BSV. And it's a little disingenuous to even pretend like it's a miner's coin because it's 0.3% of the hash rate of Bitcoin right now, and it's more than 50% by one company, the same company that started the coin. It's Calvin, he's a billionaire. And all of that development people are talking about on BSV, also funded by that same one guy. He's got a big stake in this. He owns the machines. He gets to sell the coins to people, and he gets to pay the marketing. That's how these projects work. You know, they have a vested interest in propaganda.
10 seconds.
If you actually are, if you're a miner, you don't want like half a penny for your transaction, and you don't want to have piles of hard drives to store this bloated chain that isn't even decentralized. It's theater.
Awesome, thank you. All right, and now for you, BCH, Sterling, pick a coin and pick why you would not use that coin.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with Bitcoin. I'm not picking it because I don't want to use it. I'm picking it because I can't use it. It's very challenging to use Bitcoin right now because the fees are upwards of $58. They've reached an all-time high, and there are some reasons for that as well. But it's also the simple fact that Bitcoin Cash is so much easier to use. I live in the cryptocurrency ecosystem, truly. I've gotten paid in it for a good while. I haven't recently, but for a long time I've gotten paid in it. I still accept payments in it for my consulting work, and it's just so much easier to use. Bitcoin, by comparison, is almost impossible to use. And of course, he'll tout the Lightning Network and its importance, but there's still not as many people using it. And there's been a big problem lately because you can't really open Lightning Network channels without having to pay huge fees, and that's something that's come into light recently. So I really think that leveraging a true peer-to-peer technology is what's going to open up the floodgates to more user adoption and more interest in the cryptocurrency space. Right now, Bitcoin really looks like a truly speculative asset with people just dumping money in it because it has the first mover advantage. So that's why I'm all about using and listen, I'm not closed-minded. I'm not a maximalist. I want the best cryptocurrency to win, the best peer-to-peer technology. And I just think that Bitcoin Cash is really positioned right now to fulfill those desires in a market environment.
Thank you, Sterling. All right, so now last question for you, Raf. Which one would you not pick and why?
So I will definitely not ever, I never want to use CryptoCoin, guys. Every time I use CryptoCoin BTC, it feels like I'm getting a parking ticket. It's like, it's so messed up, dude, that like, to get out of the mempool, it feels like I'm getting pulled over by a Mexican cop. Like, for real, dude. Like, this is the future of money. And not just that, but let's be real about Lightning. Strike, Breeze, all those Lightning channels, all of those, Lightning only works within those companies because it is, the liquidity is centralized. Those companies themselves run their own Lightning hubs. So they're a centralized agents that route the transactions. So, no, it's not decentralized, bro. Get out of here. And when I talk to because look, at the Crypto Vigilante, I and Jeff Berwick, we said, you know what? We're big blockers. Jeff is more on the Bitcoin Cash side. I'm a BSV dude. And we're like, let's be honest, let's bring in guys from Bitcoin BTC, from CryptoCoin. They're honest. All the honest and the smartest people in BTC CryptoCoin left to Monero a long time ago.
10 seconds.
A long time ago. Because in Monero, you are your own node, meaning a real node, a miner, right? Random X is ASIC resistant so that you can be a miner easily in Monero. It is everything BTC ever wanted to be. It's called Monero. It's true digital gold. It is the golden standard of cryptocurrency as currency in all of crypto.
So
that is Monero. But if you want to talk about Bitcoin,
cut
talk to
his
me.
mic, man. Come on, Raf. Come on. All right, we got to have a good, clean debate. No fighting below the belt. Listen to the little timing. But I can tell people are passionate, and that's super important. That's what you're going to find in the cryptocurrency space in general, is that everybody is super passionate about what's happening. So the debate really comes to scale. How can we make Bitcoin usable for the most people, especially those in third world countries that don't have access to banks? So for BTC, what do you think is the best way to scale Bitcoin? 30 seconds this time.
All right, well, you guys already know my answer, and it's obvious. Lightning Network. And again,
Explain the Lightning Network a little bit.
peer-to-peer, well, I only have 30 seconds, but when we're talking about
I stopped you.
peer-to-peer is decentralized. It's centralized to me. I own my liquidity and my node. So yeah, I'm me. I'm centralized. I can censor myself if I want to.
Here, actually, pause. Okay, this is what the Lightning Network is, and I'm going to try it because I know a lot of people are new, and I want to make sure we explain it in a way that's understandable to the layman. So just like on the internet, there is 7 layers to the internet for us to see what we have today. Most people don't even know that, right? But we still use the internet in our day-to-day world. Now, the Bitcoin blockchain is the core first layer. There's a second layer right now being built on top of Bitcoin BTC, and this second layer is meant to make transactions more private and also less expensive and also faster, and it's called the Lightning Network. So go ahead.
Right, yeah. So, of course, like any individual node is centralized to themselves, but that's the thing. It's an open protocol. Anybody can join it. Anybody does. And we use it right now with Zebedee. People all around the world join. They've never used Bitcoin in their life. They download the wallet. It's super easy. There are all kinds of non-custodial solutions like Breeze, which you mentioned, and you control those coins. It's yours, your private keys. So nobody can take that from you. Nobody can seize that from you. It's Bitcoin that you have, but you're using it without bloating a blockchain. It's something that a lot of people don't consider when we're talking about blockchain. Somebody has to store that data. Nobody wants to store your little poker game on their thing for like 2,000 years. But Lightning Network means not only are we not recording it, but we don't have to store it. And that's, like you mentioned, very private. When we talk about privacy, I wish I had more time.
You don't.
Yeah.
All right, Sterling. Pass it on. 30 seconds. What is the best way to scale Bitcoin?
So right out of the gate, recreating the Visa and MasterCard networks is not scaling Bitcoin. To scale Bitcoin, all you have to do is increase the block size limit. That's it, bar none. The only reason a block size limit was created in the first place was to prevent spam attacks on the network. So it was meant to be opened up as the network grew. And I'm personally a huge fan of what's called emergent consensus. Emergent consensus is a protocol whereby the miners get to adjust the difficulty as the market grows. And that is a truly good way of growing the protocol along with market share and along with interest in the space. So that's my personal favorite way, but just opening up the block size limit is always going to be the first step, and what Bitcoin Cash has done to open up the block size limit and to be open-minded to the needs of the market has created way more interest for developers who want to build utility and actual use cases on top of it. If you don't have that ability to truly build, and there's all of these roadblocks and obstacles blocking your way to development, then your platform, your blockchain is going to suffer irrevocably.
And in terms of block sizes, this is really one of the big differences between three of the chains, is that the way that blockchain works is that you have all of these transactions thrown into a block, right? After roughly 10 minutes on Bitcoin Core, at least, that block closes, and then the next block starts, and then that is filled with transactions, and then that block closes, and then next block starts. And what happens is that you have this now immutable chain. Something that's in the block way down here, if you wanted to change something in that, you would have to redo all that computing power and all that math and change something all the way down here. And that's what makes Bitcoin immutable. And the main difference right here is, that is what makes the blockchain immutable, is the fact that you have to unwind all of those transactions. Now, obviously with some blockchains, the amount of math and power that's needed to unwind that is less than others. And this is why a lot of other cryptocurrencies, not the three represented on stage, have some major issues because of that low processing power to unwind those transactions. Now, for you, Rafael, the question was...
Yeah, please repeat it because
Yeah, I got you.
A lot of stuff.
The question was, what do you think is the best way to scale Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin, my definition of Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is a meritocracy of miners that currently monetize across 3 chains. Having a lot of hash power, like he said, also comes with, it's also a security concern. So for BTC to have a lot of hash power, like he said, oh, it's a good thing. It's actually not that good of a thing. Look what just happened last week, guys. There was a difficulty bomb, right? Because a bunch of miners, like 30% of the network went down. And what happens when a difficulty bomb happens? You can actually you're really putting the network at risk of a chain death spiral, because then it's gonna be a lot harder for the miners to find the next block, and it's gonna call onto the central planning technocrats of BTC, which is core, to hard fork. So
Awesome.
It's really detrimental. The way to scale Bitcoin is by giving miners complete autonomy. Because what happened in crypto and in Bitcoin specifically
10 seconds.
was that people don't like the idea of other people being better than them. It's a communist mindset. This guy was complaining about Calvin Ayre. Calvin Ayre is a great entrepreneur. You're supposed to compete in providing value to the network as you're competing to secure the network.
Awesome. Thanks, Rafael. So just in terms of block sizes and scaling, can you just say real quick, how big is a block size on BTC?
The base legacy is 1 megabyte, but you can get a little higher with Segwit. You can go maybe 2.4
Okay.
megabytes.
And for BCH? Just give me a mic. Rafael, yes.
It's 32 megabytes currently.
Okay. And then
We're going for unlimited. We're doing right now between 7 to 10 transactions, megabytes, and we're doing around 50,000 transactions per second.
so first
Most transactions out of any blockchain in all the whole space. Think about that. That's on the original Bitcoin protocol at scale. Think about that.
And
so
so
we're proving it with actual work.
to give some history,
We're showing it.
To give some history, Bitcoin was the first. Bitcoin Cash was the first fork, and then BSV was the second fork. There's like a bunch of forks, honestly, but these are the 3 main ones. Okay, so now the next question is, and I want to give you guys some time to answer this because I really want the crowd to understand what's so cool about cryptocurrencies, okay? So if you want to say, what is the coolest thing you've done with Bitcoin?
Sure. Right now, it's got to be what I'm doing with the Lightning Network. Everything that we're doing now, it's like going back to the early days. You know, in the early days of Bitcoin, one of my favorite things was there were so many tinkers, people building their own arcade machines, people building their own little machines, you know, do-it-yourself stuff. It was cool. But as Bitcoin grew, that space became so valuable, of course, that it kind of pushed some of those use cases off. And now with Lightning, we're seeing the tinkering community come back again. Now you got guys that are making like ATMs where you can put pennies in the ATMs and scan with your phone and get pennies of Bitcoin out of it. You know, all kinds of really cool things are being done. The company Zebedee, again, that I'm with now, being able to play games and hit people for 5 cents a piece. It's the best way that I've seen with games and Bitcoin. That is an incredible way to onboard people who never even thought they wanted to use Bitcoin. Now they're using Bitcoin because it's fun. They're getting it for playing games they were going to play anyway. It's an amazing way. It opens up opportunities for sponsors and devs themselves, new ways to interact with their communities. So instead of just having a game where you pay into and the game devs, they make all the money, cool, you engage, you have fun, but now you're part of an ecosystem. You're part of a circular economy where you guys are paying each other. If the game is successful, the gamers are winning too. And that's amazing, and what it's doing for adoption is amazing.
So the one coolest thing you say you would use Bitcoin for?
Man, there's so many. But I think, I'm a gamer always, so I think being able to make Bitcoin for playing games is really cool.
Awesome. Okay. Bitcoin Cash.
So one of my favorite things about Bitcoin Cash currently is Cash Fusion, being able to send private transactions in a truly peer-to-peer fashion is absolutely amazing. And yeah, there are other privacy coins that meet these requirements, but Bitcoin Cash can also do a whole lot more besides that. But here's the thing, right now with technologies like BSV, there's likely going to be no privacy features built onto that because people like Craig Wright want it to be gov token and they don't want anything to do with privacy. They want your government to know everything about it. I'm a huge fan of the cypherpunk movement and privacy, and I think we should be able to leverage technologies that give us the utility and the flexibility to send transactions that somebody can't chase you down and use blockchain forensics and analytics tools like chain analysis to find out what you're up to. Privacy is of the utmost importance, and I think this is one of the greatest creations on the Bitcoin Cash network more recently, and it's absolutely amazing. Highly recommend trying it out. You can download an Electron wallet and then build Cash Fusion or get Cash Fusion right inside of it. It's awesome.
So what was one of the coolest things you used Bitcoin Cash for?
Anonymous transactions using Cash Fusion.
Awesome. Okay. And Rafael?
Nothing in any Bitcoin blockchain is anonymous at all. They are all surveillance, transparent coins, all of them. Now, number 10 on the Bitcoin white paper, because a lot of these people on this side, Helen Keller understood the white paper better than some of these guys. I swear to God, like seriously. So, look, number 10 in the white paper, Satoshi gives you how to actually use privacy in Bitcoin, okay? It's by using the UTXO set within the wallets itself. You can't do that on-chain with BTC, with CryptoCoin. And by the way, Lightning is not Bitcoin. I hate to break it to you. The best second layer for BTC, CryptoCoin, it's called PayPal. It's the truth. That's your best second layer, dude. It's exactly what it is. It's PayPal. That's your number one second layer. So kudos to you, bro. But when you talk about real Bitcoin, actually,
What's the coolest thing, though? What's the coolest thing?
The coolest thing is, I can talk about hours about the computational power of BSV. It's all of the startups that are being built on chain right now, like Twitch, Relica, Streamanity. When you open up a BSV wallet, you open it up and it's like a portal into all of the applications, games, on-chain, being built on-chain right now. It's beautiful. Download Handcash. Speaking of Handcash, the UTXO set in Handcash between wallet to wallet, you can create hundreds of thousands of UTXOs and then hundreds of thousands of addresses and send nano transactions. Literally, we're calling them nano transactions. We have a word for it called doodle. It's smaller than a Satoshi, bro. And if someone from the outside looks at what's happening between Handcash wallet and Handcash wallet, you see hundreds of thousands of transactions going from hundreds of thousands of UTXOs to hundreds of thousands of addresses. So the way Satoshi designed Bitcoin is for you, in order to do blockchain analytics on Bitcoin, it requires work, proof of work. So then it's a matter of economic incentives. Is it worth going after this criminal? Nah, dude, that dude was doing nothing. All right, then let's not put the work in doing the blockchain analytics for it. Is it worth it? This dude was actually trafficking children. Yeah, do the work. You do the work, and you can figure out and do the necessary work, and it's going to cost money to do that.
So,
see, BSV functions like it's supposed to. Economies of scale. It's not centrally planned, guys. Yeah, it's just straight up extreme capitalism, and it's beautiful.
And what he's talking...
The coolest thing, I think, is Twitch. To me, Twitch, because Twitch, when you use Twitch, you go
What
back
is
to
Twitch?
Twitter,
What
and
is
it feels
Twitch?
like you were in a communist republic in Twitter.
What is Twitch?
Twitch is Twitter on the BSV blockchain. Relica is like Instagram. It is like Instagram on the BSV blockchain. Streamanity is like YouTube on the BSV blockchain. And then you can play games, guys, with microtransactions. Dude, what's happening in BSV is blowing up, so amazing. But they're not telling you about it because Silicon Valley's scared. Because you can now, right now, you can start up a storefront for your business and use the big Bitcoin miners as the back end of your business. And let me tell you something else. All these Bitcoin miners are agnostic. F2 Pool mines Bitcoin Cash, BSV, and BTC. Miners own the club. They are not the bouncers of the club as they will have you believe. Miners run this.
All right,
so
so
as a
next-
miner, you're hedging
Tell
your
them.
bet into the future, and you're mining all three, right?
Yeah. So which is the same thing that you guys can do as people who are maybe conflicted as I am on which Bitcoin. The ability to have all three is definitely there. And it seems like from my analysis right now, because I'm going through this with the audience as well, digital gold, right? I don't even think on this side they're arguing that they are digital gold. And then we have over here on the BSV side saying that what they have is huge processing power and the ability to create applications on top of Bitcoin. So maybe we're just having a different argument here, but let's just continue. Coolest thing you've done in Bitcoin. I just want to share the coolest thing I've done in Bitcoin is, you really got to help these people in these third world countries because there's about 70% of the world's population that does not have access to banks. And now with cryptocurrencies, all they need is a cell phone and a Wi-Fi signal, and they can participate in a global economy. Beforehand, you would have to be able to have enough money and the proximity to a bank, but now people can transact in a global marketplace with just a cell phone, a Wi-Fi signal, and a wallet. So that's all, and you can do that with all Bitcoins, okay? So now you guys are gonna have to do this, and I'm gonna actually, because we have kind of like a little 2-on-1 right now I see going on. What is one thing you respect about your competitor's views? And you two have to say something about him, okay? We'll start with Raf for this one.
Okay, look, what I respect is their premises and their intentions, right? I think that they're all beautiful people and they have real good hearts and they have good intentions. But sometimes good people can invest themselves into sunk cost. What they really want is Monero, okay?
Monero,
and
sorry,
the true
real fast,
second layer. Hey,
Raf.
guys, one
Wait,
second.
no. Monero is a complete privacy coin,
Okay.
meaning the transactions are not traceable at all.
So people that used to think in BTC logic, they realize what we really want to create in BTC is not possible in BTC. So they were honest. They started from scratch. And another Satoshi Nakamoto by the name of Nicholas von Saberhagen came out and gave us the crypto note protocol. Now, what I really love is a dude that was just here, Chris Odom. He actually created the most magnificent of second layers, guys. So if there's any BTC people out there listening, please, BTC has like hope. The hope for BTC are two things. Actual side chains by Paul Storks, which they're not gonna, I know, I'm sorry, Paul, but I know Core is not even gonna, they're not gonna like it, bro. It's the truth, because they're central planners. Go to Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash, I know they'll welcome you. We don't need you in BSV, but we don't. We got it. We understand.
You're supposed to say something good, Raf.
So I like their intentions, but their logical conclusions, the logical conclusions of their arguments, of their premises, lead to Monero for both of them. So they both should be here championing Monero, not fool's gold and wannabe cash.
Okay, all right.
Bitcoin is computational power, guys. Is being able to compete with big tech right now. That's really what Bitcoin is about. See, Bitcoin was not created as a privacy coin in mind, right? I'm sorry that they lied to you and they gave you half-assed versions of this, but really what they gave you is a honeypot that is extremely dangerous. And if you want a privacy coin, there's Pirate Chain, which is amazing, zero knowledge proof by default on the protocol level, or there's Monero.
And also, too, guys, just so you understand, Bitcoin is pseudonymous, meaning that you're tied to a wallet address, and there is some ways you can trace and figure out if you want to do the work to figure out whose wallet attributes to which person, but it's pseudonymous, so your name is not listed there, and your KYC is not listed there, but if you do it a certain way, then it will actually, they can find out who you are. All right, so Sterling, say something good about BTC.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I like about the Bitcoin community, and JC and I have actually had a little bit of a conversation with this in the past, but I like the fact that they actually do try to protect the people coming into the ecosystem, all the newbies out there who are constantly getting scammed. I've been in the space long enough to know that there are a ton of scammers out there, and in all likelihood, there's probably a scammer or two right here at this event, because I've been to many events and have had people who are put in jail now try to scam me, and these guys do a really good job about trying to eliminate or get all of those people, those individual bad actors out of the space. And that's been one of my missions as well. The scam artists are out there trying to prey on people, and if they're unwitting victims to a scam, they could potentially lose a lot of money. And working at a cryptocurrency exchange has only given me even more ideas around how can we protect people, and really it's all about education, and these guys do a phenomenal job of educating people about how to use cryptocurrencies and how to not get scammed, and they also do a good job about getting those bad actor companies and entities and organizations out of the environment. So that's some major props that I give to the Bitcoin community, and I only hope that other cryptocurrency ecosystems can mirror that amount of dedication to helping others, because ultimately I think that are what these communities are about, and all of us can agree on that we're trying to bring common ground and bring people together so that we can prevent people from getting hurt and taken advantage of. And that's one of the reasons that I'm in the space as well.
Yeah. Awesome. And he's completely correct, you guys. Do your own research, personal accountability. You don't have FDIC $250,000 insurance. You have to make sure that you have personal accountability and responsibility. And this is what I love about Bitcoin in general, that it brings people to a place where they're like, I can depend on no one but myself, and I like that. All right, so say something good about one of the other two. Or
Sure,
both.
yeah. I mean, so I've known a lot of BCH guys for a long time. They have a great community, and a lot of the people, now the individual companies that are running things, Bitmain and how they did actually literally try to co-opt Bitcoin. Bitcoin.com has done a lot of shady things over the time, especially with their marketing. But the community itself, most of these guys, like, privacy is a focus, and I strongly disagree that privacy on chain is something that we shouldn't strive for. But it's not Monero, because Monero you cannot audit the supply. You've got hard forks every 6 months. It's definitely not Monero. But with Bitcoin or with BCH, Cash Fusion is actually really cool. I love Cash Fusion. It lets you, everybody automatically when they're spending, it's not a dirty pool. It's everybody, so you don't know what's doing what. And so like that's great. And with Taproot, which is coming on Bitcoin soon, hopefully, that is going to really open the door to a lot of on-chain privacy, especially when you mix that with going into second layer. It's going to be, in my opinion, even more private than Monero in a lot of ways, because you're not going to have the trail. Because even on Monero, you have a trail that you can trace, 100 years from now potentially. So there's a lot of compromises you make there. But definitely the thing would be a lot of the guys. My friends in BCH that I've had, a lot of them come back to BTC now, but they're mostly really good, and like their heart is in the right place. So.
And that's the thing, is that there's no right answer, you guys. There really isn't, and we need to understand that. But there are different viewpoints, and it's important to understand them all and not shut other people out because they don't share your viewpoint. So I'm going to do one last question, because I want to let you guys do some open debate and then some Q&A, because we've got about 10 minutes, and we're going to put this pirate chain video on. So 3 words, guys, okay? I know it's going to be hard, Raph. 3 words, okay? What makes you the most passionate about your coin?
Trustlessness, decentralization, unstoppability.
Peer-to-peer anonymity and utility. That was more than 3 words, but.
Okay.
Competition, capitalism, and the Nakamoto consensus. The real Nakamoto consensus. Now, I'm going to take a vote with a Raspberry Pi and with Amazon servers that I rented out and call it a Raspberry Revolution. No, dude. No, dude.
All right. Okay,
real proof of
all
work,
right, so
baby.
for the audience, would you guys rather, because it's going to get real fiery in here, we're going to have an actual debate like for the next 10 minutes, or do we want to take some questions? Okay. Debate. Let's let them fight. That's what I said. Okay. So guys, be respectful. No hitting below the belt. And we got 10 minutes, and I just want to make sure that let's just make sure that everyone has the ability to speak. And go ahead.
Thanks. I love that you mentioned Nakamoto consensus, because right now BSV's got 0.3% of the miners. And these, like you said, they can do whatever they want. They're free to mine anything they feel is the thing that they want to mine, and they mine Bitcoin, of course. To the extent they mine something else, it's because, they're balancing the hash power out. But most of them don't. Even, we see disparities on BSV hash rate all the time, because even though they might be able to make a little bit more money, they don't want to mess with it. It's not liquid. They don't respect it. It's centralized. There's all kinds of stuff right now with Craig Wright, for example, where he wants to actually take the 1 million coins that Satoshi had on BSV for himself. And from what I've heard from most of the community, they're fine with it, because they feel like a Bitcoin should be just like PayPal, and a court of law should be able to determine who owns what on the chain. So you don't need private keys. You don't need cryptography, which is the entire point of Bitcoin. If you just have a judge saying, you know what, I think this guy is the owner of these coins, so go ahead and give it to him, and then they do. That's not at all what Bitcoin is.
So, yeah, definitely the hash power, it's as much as the hash power issue is something that is an issue, at the same time, it's not, because this chain is still being sustained. When you hash, what you're actually doing is putting out a costly signal out into the network that you will fight for this chain, right? There's a lot of other ways to monetize as miners, and that's one thing that miners in BSV are doing, is that they're experimenting with other ways of monetizing than just the block reward, which we call the subsidy, right? Which is just something that's there. So there are other ways of monetizing, but yeah, I agree. There is an issue, and that's something that miners decide. Again, Bitcoin, in my understanding, is a network of miners that currently monetize across 3 chains. They get to decide, man. They're the owners of the club.
They do, and they have decided.
They call the shots. But at the same time, having a lot of hash power is a vulnerability.
Definitely
Look at just what happened this past week.
We're talking about 99% of the hash power.
Dude, you just had
that's not like a question.
Congratulations on your all-time high transaction fee average, bro. Yeah, cripple coin. It felt like I was getting a parking ticket.
That's called the. Do you like the free market or not? Do you like capitalism or not? You say you're a capitalist. What do you want us to give everybody equal transactions?
No, it's called economies of scale, and this is how Bitcoin's supposed to work.
There's
just
never
like opening a burger joint.
Transaction is exactly what somebody wants to pay.
When you open up a burger joint, you have to cover your cost, right? If you start selling a lot of burgers, you can sell them cheaper. In BSV, the more the blockchain is used, the more transactions we have on the blockchain, the cheaper transactions get. Because the economies of scale incentivize production and actual value creation.
Yeah.
And miners, when they have the... Okay. And BTC is the complete opposite, dude. You guys do an auctioning process called replace by fee. And it's like you're waiting on a bus stop, waiting for the bus to come in. Hopefully you get in, and it's like you just got pulled over on the Mexican highway. You try to bribe your way out of this one.
There's no such thing as a fee that's too expensive, because if it was, nobody would have paid it. People pay what they think it's worth. It's the freest market. It's the freest market in the world. Anybody, regardless of who they are, without any bank, anybody in the world can go, and if they want to make a transaction, they have to bid for that in a free market, and that's going to be exactly what it's worth.
Sure.
It can never be more than it's worth.
The problem, one of the problems with, and this is this whole issue with replace by fee, is you absolutely break the Bitcoin protocol with that, because inevitably what you can do is you create this fee market that inevitably gets to a point where it's going to be impossible to even spend the tokens because of the amount of the fees. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people in the Bitcoin Cash community have actually pushed back against that so vociferously, because it's not the intended, because it effectively works like a chargeback. Like if you were to buy something at Walmart and then say later on down the road, maybe I don't want that, and then you can actually send those funds back. So replace by fee fundamentally breaks one of the key features and key characteristics of
You just have
Bitcoin.
to wait for a confirmation. Once you have confirmation and it's in a block, that's it. You can't take your payment back. So it's, that's not hard. If you're doing a transaction and you don't trust the guy, or you don't want to trust the guy, you just wait for it to be on the ledger and recorded, and there's no more replacing anything.
Okay, so you brought up something about a government law. Okay, great. Let's talk about that. So any Bitcoin chain, any of these 3 sister chains, are open, transparent surveillance coins. All of them are. Cash fusion, even using the Lightning Network, you still have to close a Lightning hub, and the liquidity, the centralized liquidity in the Lightning Network is a huge problem that they still have to deal with. We're still waiting another 18 months for it to be useful for a normal average person. But
they're playing right now on our platform. People from all around the world.
18 months, yes.
Right now. You can go, there's probably people playing Counter-Strike right now on our site for less than a penny per shot.
Okay, cool, man. Actually, guys, look, check this out. In all honesty, it would be really stupid for anyone to want the Lightning Network to fail. Like, for real. That would be really dumb. BTC has taken the marketing, breadth of the space, and everybody thinks of Bitcoin, and they think of BTC. So yeah, it would be really dumb to want the Lightning Network to fail. We all want it to succeed, man. Okay, we all really want it to succeed.
And any, if we wanted to talk about Lightning Network specifically, there's a lot of great tech. AMP allows you to split up your payments, so it's not just being reliant on the largest liquidity providers. You can actually split your payment into even 100 pieces if you want, so that even the little guys get a piece. But because it's open, if there's a node that's getting too much of the liquidity, he's of course going to raise his fees. You have to manage that node, and so it's going to give an arbitrage opportunity for other smaller nodes to sit there and kind of build their own roads and charge their own lower fees, and that open competition has resulted so far in almost free network right now to use, and I could see that will continue.
I think the Lightning Network is great. But
closing statements, because we gotta move on. But closing statements.
I think people in BTC really need to look into open transactions, guys. Chris Odom was just here, and what he created was an incredible system. And I really think I really want to champion what he did, because he's an unsung hero. And that is an awesome second layer solution that BTC could use, but no one's really looking into it right now. And I don't know why, to be honest.
Your closing statements?
Yeah, I think that I'm open-minded, right? I'm not a maximalist. I'm for whatever is the best cryptocurrency to do the job of creating more freedom for humanity, and that is what's most important to me. I will make one comment though. I wanted to mention our good, what's your name, Rafael? Rafael had made a critique about cash fusion not being as anonymous as I said, and it actually is anonymous. The way that it mixes inputs and outputs is just like a mixer, and I am certified in chain analysis, both in Reactor and in KYT, and I know for a fact that you can't trace cash fusion within Bitcoin Cash.
So, the reason I'm here at this debate, because in my opinion, it's already over. 99% of the hash is Bitcoin. These projects, they forked a long time ago. They used to say, oh, we'll follow the market. The market's going to decide. Well, the market has decided. It's 4 years later now. Nobody really uses it. You can look at the volume. It's nothing. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. If you like Bitcoin, you buy BTC. That said, I'm here because if I wasn't here, I was afraid of who would be. So I had to come up here, and make the case. And I'm, happy to answer any questions.
And I do have to say that, personally, like from an investment perspective, I do think that all of these coins really do have their merits. But BTC is the only one that has like BNY Mellon, using them. They're the only ones that have these like big banks like PayPal and stuff adopting Bitcoin. They're the only ones that have a futures exchange coming about them. That doesn't mean that they're the best. It just means they're the only ones that have institutional adoption at this point. So that's just a point to make. Now, I would go and I would say, hey, who won? Crowd cheer. But I'm not going to do that, because it is important for each of you to decide what features you like and which chain you want to operate on, because it is the free market. It is choice. Nobody is forcing you to use the dollar, okay? People force you to use the dollar, but nobody is forcing you to use any one of these chains. So give it up for our panelists, guys.
Crypto is nothing but a surveillance, transparent coin that's spying you all the time. We know everything about you now. We got all your metadata. And on top of that, we're rocking you through blockchain analytics. Oh yeah, we see where you shop. We see you in the Silk Road. Oh yeah, we see you everywhere you go. You think you're hiding from us? We see everything about you. Yeah, you think you're so hot with your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, but you don't know what crypto really is unless you're a crypto anarchist. And it feels like finally, for the first fucking time, people are waking up, because the market is bleeding right now. Bleeding. But guess what? We got green dildos up and down the privacy coin sector. Why is that? Why is that? Because crypto is crypto anarchy. If you're not with it, if you're not with us, you're against us. And that's the truth. And I'm telling you that because there's nothing else that I can tell you. I'm telling you that because we come from the darkness, and that's where we come from. That's what we're here for, okay? This is what it is about, right? Yeah. Woo! What's power chain at? We just flipped the first fake ass privacy coin out there, Zcash. We just flipped them. The flipping it just happened today, guys. Woo! If you're not private by default at the protocol level, you're not private at all. Woo! Who in here owns Monero? Raise your hand. Where's Monero? Nicholas von Saberhagen in the house! Woo! Y'all know who Nicholas von Saberhagen is? Come on, people! Come on, people! It's the Satoshi Nakamoto of Monero. He was just here hanging out. What happened to the music, yo? I just got censored at a crypto conference! Yeah! That's what I want to hear! Yeah! By the mass people! The mass people want to censor us! But we're not going to stop, guys! This is crypto anarchy, baby! Alright? This is anarcho-capitalism! We emphasize light and darkness! Light is capitalism, extreme capitalism! And privacy is your personal sovereignty! Yeah! Y'all love Bitcoin? Yeah! Okay, me too. Y'all should be a little critical about Bitcoin though. Yeah! You can't be too comfortable with Bitcoin. Yeah! You think they were just gonna let you have your Bitcoin and eat it too? No, no, no! Hell no! This is just an improv, by the way, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about. Privacy coins are fucking blowing up. For the first time, they're blowing up. If you don't have, look, real cryptocurrency has to do with the cryptography. If the cryptography is not solid, if it's not what it's supposed to be, you're dealing with something worse than the banking establishment. You're dealing with a transparent surveillance coin. If it's not private by default at the protocol level, it is not private at all. We see you, Winnie the Pooh, with your pants off, with your hand in the honey jar. You guys all in the honey pot. And you guys don't even know it. Blockchain analytics got you guys. They track, they trace you. They know when you sleep, they know when you pee. They know everything about you. Everything about you. You guys gonna live in that world, in that nightmare? You guys love that? Then why the fuck are you holding Ethereum? Why the fuck are you holding Bitcoin? Huh? If you guys really, really care about your freedom and your privacy, then you guys should be getting into some real cryptocurrency. Alright? If you don't like what I have to say, that's too bad. Because I'm not here to shield for you or anybody. I'm independent. Crypto anarchist. I'm here to shield for my people. Okay? That's why I'm here. If you don't like it, too bad. Alright? So, have fun with your crypto coin, surveillance, coins. But that ain't real crypto no more, guys. Blockchain analytics got you guys by the hook. And it's, yeah. Welcome to the reality. Crypto anarchy's here to stay. Better start getting used to it. Woo!
Yeah!